Man, they had a Jay-Z interview that just got released on the GQ YouTube page. And I don't know, I think it's gonna be a part two, I'm not really sure. But the first one was like almost 40 minutes. I'm talking about a great interview. And it makes me appreciate being born in the time I was born in. I was born in the 80s and 90s. Well, I was born in the 80s, raised in the 80s and 90s. And that was up to now. I don't know what the future holds, but just being a historian and just being somebody who is very in tune with the everyday culture, not just a race culture, but just American culture and world, just knowing what's going on. Say, bro, the 80s and 90s was the best, bro. It was the best, and maybe you could say the early 2000s. You know, I thank God I wasn't born in the civil rights era. I also thank God that I'm not born currently in this current woke era. But the era I was born in, the 80s and 90s, men was men, women was women. Everybody was in their respective roles. People were able to say what they really wanted to say, not what they had to say because they was going to get canceled. The black people were actually, and we always had kind of an issue with the black on black crime. Of course, it never what it was. It's never been what it is now. But I mean, even in the 90s and the 80s, it was kind of bad in New Orleans and South Central and certain parts. I will say that we never was perfect as a community, especially in the 80s and the crack epidemic and all that. But we were big on saying how we actually felt. I remember Michael Jordan had a famous famous post game thing, and they had a guy in his town who was a Democrat and was running for office or something. And come to find out, he actually did send him a financial contribution to his campaign. The guy still lost, but they wanted him, because the media always played these games, but they wanted him to say something about it. They wanted him to basically endorse, or people, not really the media, but a lot of people, black people, wanted him to, publicly endorse this man, use his celebrity, which was extremely enormous at that time, to endorse this man, and he wouldn't do it. He got a soundbite of famously saying, "Republicans buy Jordans too." Now you fast forward to a time now where you have people like LeBron, who extremely woke, no wisdom, just complete idiots, but have a very great talent, which puts them in the limelight, puts them in a position where they'll ask questions on very, very serious topics such as social issues, elections, when these people are complete meatheads. And another thing I want to add that goes into that is I come from the last era of two-parent households where men was men. And of course, Jordan was raised by his father, and we know LeBron wasn't. And it shows. It shows in the way he carries himself. It shows in the way he reacts to things, overly emotional, and just no wisdom, no critical thinking, no tact, just that feminine energy in the male frame. And it comes down even when he asks, like I said, it even goes all the way down to when he answers questions about situations in his life, and he would have never said nothing like that. Republicans buy George too. He's always a victim, and he's always, and Jordan just wasn't that, man. And I heard Jay-Z, people like Jay-Z, and this interview, this is a small clip. As you can see, it's only 1 minute and 44 seconds. But he said something that was so powerful, man, that I had to react to it, man. And this is the era that I come from. This is how we talk now. You'll never hear a rapper say that now. What he said is always somebody else's fault. Somebody always holding you back. They got to allow you to do this and allow that, right? But yet, this the same people holler about their kings and queens. But man, I just wanted to say that, man, just thankful that to be raised in the era where I come from. And Jay-Z the best to ever do it. And I ain't just talking rap. And it's because of stuff like this. So without further ado, I'm going to let it play. And I just wanted to let y'all hear that, man, and check that out. I'm out, man.
I even want you to take that out of your vocabulary.
Take what?
Allowed. You know what I'm saying? We're not allowed to do anything. You know, in order for someone to allow you, they have to have authority over you. Mm-hmm. No one has authority over us. we exist like everyone else here. Yeah. No one can allow us to do anything. But that word comes from a real space. And I want to eliminate all those type of words for us. Yeah. Yes. So the answer to that is yes.
When you're on a mission to eliminate words like allow, like you said, mm-hmm. do you feel like that makes you a target sometimes from?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, 100%. What's the Nipsey thing? Pray for me, y'all. One day I'm gonna have to pay for these thoughts. Real niggas is extinct. It ain't safe for me, my dog. These are real fucking lyrics.
You've come back to that a lot in the last few years. Like, the more I reveal me, the more they will kill me. Stuff like that. When you say they, like, who is that?
Whatever the threat to, however the system is set up to keep things at status quo, mm-hmm. and keep us in a position of using words like allow. Mm-hmm. So anyone that's culpable in creating the system that we operate under, that's they.
Yeah.
That's they. And it actually goes beyond color. Yeah. Because I've encountered that a lot. Where it was just like, okay, this successful black man make it. Let me go to him.
Yeah.
And for help. And they're like, we don't fuck with no rap shit.
Oh, wow.
Not like out like that, but you know,
that's the energy.
Like the energy. It's like you see the energy.
Yeah.
I even want you to take that out of your.
Before I end this video, I wanted to go back and address something he said. And when the young man asked him, do you think that makes you feel like a target when you say stuff like that? And you know what's funny? It do make him a target, but not to the people that everybody say is against black people. It's the white man. You know who he become a target to? People like Roland Martin, who he's publicly disrespected. People like Al Sharpton, people who Jay have publicly disavowed, disrespected, because, you know, how can they help me? That's, you know, some of the things he said. And I don't remember the situation with Roland Martin, but he never respected none of these people. He, you know, but because he know what they all about. Very, very smart gentleman, highly intelligent, high IQ. And he did double dose with it. He book smart, street smart, corporate smart. He all around the board. He the ball. But that's who he become a target to, because they'll come up and say, hey, don't tell black people that they're not victims. They are victims. And they are only allowed to do certain things. That's the only people who will come against him for what he just said. Not nobody else, especially the white people. They glad to hear him say stuff like that, because he got a high celebrity and he very powerful in everything he say. And look, there's somebody telling you what Obama should have told you, that, hey man, ain't nobody allowing you to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? But they tell you, man, you only allowed to do this. You can't do this because you black. He just said, we removing that out of our vocabulary. And that was just so powerful, man. I had to share that with y'all, man. And another thing I wanted to say, you know, his main man, his little brother, Memphis Bleak, and all of these black podcasts, Drink Champs and all that. People wonder why that you don't see Jay on those podcasts, and why Jay don't do no podcasts for the culture and all this and all that. It's because Jay IQ is too high. I watched the interview. I think that was his last urban interview he did on the urban platform, which was Breakfast Club, I believe, in 2013. And you could just see how, and he didn't show it, but somebody like me can see it. He just kind of like, I'm just ready for this to be over with. I'm going to be a gentleman, but never again. That's the energy that he had. Because they ask all of these silly, low IQ questions. And when you're a person like Jay-Z, and you got the mindset, and you astute as he is, you shrewd as he is, You don't have time for that. And I tell people all the time, man, when you educate yourself or you ask God for wisdom, however you come across your intel and you begin to raise your intel, your IQ, it's very difficult dealing with the average person. It's very, because the average person, they don't care about strengthening their mental capabilities, anything outside of what they do or what they have. Like just actually having knowledge and wisdom. Most people are not interested in that. And it's difficult to deal with them. Because it's difficult to have conversations with them. It's just difficult all around to have these type of people be a part of your life. I mean, his loved ones, your mother and all that, people that's up in age. I ain't talking about that. But like just to have a friend. Like I was talking to one of my homeboys the other day. This is just off the subject. But let me finish that point. And they wonder why he don't do them. And this young man here is a smart young man. He's a huge Jay-Z fanatic, and it was perfect for him. And he just so happened to work for GQ. And this, like I say, in this first interview, a little under 40 minutes, he asked questions with substance. All of his questions was substantive questions, things that people can get something out of, not the little simple, silly, low vibrational questions that black urban platform would ask him, like they did on Breakfast Club or like Nori would do. And I love Nori. You know what I'm saying? Love Nori as a rapper and as a podcaster. But I'm saying Jay-Z don't have time for that. And he's a brand. And once you become a brand big as Jay-Z, you have to protect that. You can't go certain places because it'll drop your stock, especially no drink champ with drinking and all that going on. And we know his homeboy podcast, Memphis Bleak. Now would I do that for my homeboy and give him that push? He just started his podcast? Absolutely. But Jay know Memphis Bleak is very, very, very immature. This man is in his, I think, almost 50s. He's very immature. He's like an older YN. And even you talk about Joe and Jada, which is a little bit more sophisticated, no smoking and all that. Or, Jay don't have time for these silly questions, these back in the day questions, you remember what happened with this question? You remember when Jay don't have time for that. You know what I'm saying? Jay used that time to be with his wife, be with his children, or, exercising other business ventures. But for to just doing, he don't have time for that. But this interview was a great interview. We haven't seen from him in a while. We haven't heard from him in a while. He did address some things. And I mean, it was just a great, great, great interview. But this small soundbite right here, I think was the most powerful to me, out of the whole thing, man. And like I say, man, I suggest y'all go check it out. And like I say, man, it's just difficult, you know what I'm saying, to even go on these platforms when you, or like I say, if you're a regular person, to deal with people who have lower IQ, which is, again, most people. And I mean, like I say, ever since I began to exercise my mental capabilities and I grew and I didn't ask God for wisdom and I didn't do my own, study to show myself approved in all things. And I have became more just difficult to deal with the average person. Because everything you say, it got to be broke down because they don't really understand things from your perspective. And you so far removed from their perspective, you can't even meet them where they are in some situations. Now, when you're talking from a biblical standpoint and you trying to teach, that's different. But I'm saying just like having an everyday conversation. And I do understand you're supposed to be all things for all people, but it's just difficult sometimes. That's all I'm saying. Like I was talking to one of my homeboys the other day, and he's on, me and him, he a like-minded homie, and we was having a conversation about something, and I brought something up that I didn't know. I should have knew because I know him, but I didn't think he was gonna actually understand it. So, but I was willing to explain it to him because I know he's the type of person like me. He like being educated. So if it's something that he don't know, instead of running away from it, he want to know about it so he can take what you give him and he can go do his own research. That way, in another situation, when it's come up with somebody else or with the same person, you'll be well more versed. That's just a small way of strengthening your mental capabilities and raising your IQ. Most of the time when you having a conversation with somebody and something comes up that you don't really understand, what'll happen is people, I don't want to talk about that, or they'll blow it off because that's just kind of like little too deep for them. and it's understood. Everybody, everybody life holds different merit. But for me, I don't never want to be. I want to know a little bit about everything. I don't never want to be nowhere where a conversation is over my head, or I'm being, or some people having a conversation over my head because I don't know what they talking about. And if I do be in that position, as I have, that's fine. I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna soak everything I can. I'm gonna take key points, and in my spare time, I'm gonna do research on those points. And next time, I'm gonna be on point, right? But anyway, I was talking to my homeboy, man, and I brought up something. Like I said, I didn't think he would know what it was, and I was ready to explain because I know he's open to that. But as soon as I said it, he was like, "Yeah, man," and woo 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 ba 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 ba, and I was kind of impressed, but then I was also kind of relieved too because I was like, okay, now I don't got to explain all this. He's saying everything. He took a whole bulk of what I was about to explain because I didn't have to explain it because he told me what I was talking about and explaining. It was just so amazing. And that's why it's so good to, have like-minded friends, man. But yeah, man, I don't want to talk y'all head off. This is your boy Vern again checking out. I just wanted to speak on this, man. And this was a great interview. Go check it out.